Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where last episode we launched our P5 truss here, and it is not very substantial, no doubt about that. It was a very quick design process, but now of course we need to head on up to the ISS. So let's see what we've got here for encounters. These are minimal, okay? Looks like sometime around here, basically a full orbit, but that's not too bad, all things considered. That's really solid, actually. Yeah, let's do it. We're going to head on over to the node. That's going to be, of course, in like 40 minutes. We need a full orbit here. But let's make our way right on around. Excellent. So we've got about 30 more minutes to warp here, but we do need to consider when we want to move the P6 module. Now, technically, we don't have to move it yet, right? We could move it now, but really the P6 truss module is relocated when we lift the Harmony module, which is going to be in 1, 2, 3, 4 additional flights. Okay, because next we're going to do the S3, S4 truss, then the S5 truss, which is basically exactly the same as the trusses we have now, but inverted. And because we are vertically symmetrical, is that okay? It might be. I'll have to think about that. We do have about 20 seconds, of course, until this burn here, and we'll just warp forward a little bit. 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. And off we go to the ISS. Phenomenal. So yeah, those starboard modules are going to be basically the same. I want to think about how those are going to end up working once we get to the ISS. So we arrive there, we install the P5 truss. I want to consider how this is going to end up working on the starboard side, if we need to just flip it around in the model, if we're going to be completely fine not flipping it. We know that we're going to want to redo our deployment mechanism anyway, right? So maybe we just toss in a rotation servo when we do that. Now that's an idea. We could definitely do that, in theory. But for now, we need to arrive at the ISS. And if we tossed in a rotation servo, it wouldn't matter what orientation we lifted it in. We can just warp on over to here for now, and I want to go into target mode. We are only at 120 right now in terms of our relative velocity. And there's the ISS right there. Wonderful. So I'm going to pull this node over this direction a little bit, but it's going to get less and less efficient the more speed that we have here, right? So we're just pulling the node over here. It's a slight corrective burn, but the real corrections are going to be in the retrograde direction. I just wanted to, for this very first burn, to be increasing our speed, so we have a little bit more speed to work with here. Okay, cool. So our interception here is currently going to be in about 1.5 minutes, which is, of course, not all that far out. Let's warp to about here, about half that distance. And then we're going to start up a correction burn here. And we're going to just bring this relative speed on down. We're still about 5 kilometers out from the ISS right now. There we go. About there or so. So that'll do for now. That puts us at a 0.1 kilometer differential and about 80 meters per second apart. Our final speed is going to be, well, this speed. So that seems okay. Let's just lock onto relative velocity minus for right now, and let's warp in a little bit here. We'll let the ISS load. There it is. Hi, ISS. And let's begin our braking burn here. Bringing this down to, I don't know, for now, maybe around 20 meters per second. We can also do a little bit of correction out over this way. About like that. Okay. Excellent. So there's that port truss segment that we've put in there. Phenomenal. Okay, down to about 10 meters per second here for now. That'll do. So we can just warp in a little bit further now. We know we're going to be going up here, right? So we're going to need to go up a bit from where we are. Cool. And let's just bring this down to a complete stop. So 3 meters per second. 2 meters per second. Actually, we don't need to bring it to a complete stop. We can just start getting some upward velocity here. And I want to set this guy as our target. Okay. We can put this on kill rot for the time being. And we want to actually have our velocity be a bit above where this target point is, right? Because we want to have, we don't want to impact here. We want to go up a fair amount and pass over it. That's the idea here. Okay. So somewhere around here or so, we have quite a lot of upward velocity now. Let's go to about 2 meters per second for our total overall speed. Okay. That looks good. And we'll just stop that upward momentum once we feel like we have enough verticality here. I'm not 100% certain that we're there yet, but we can, in the meantime, open up our cargo bay. Did we even strut this thing down? It's so small. I don't think we did. But that's fine. We can bring this target angle down to 0. There we go. And that will need to be strutted down, right? But we're just going here until our tail clears this. We could definitely start to arrest our vertical momentum now, though. Okay. So that looks reasonably fine. We may actually end up overshooting this. I'm going to turn to relative velocity minus here, and I'm going to utilize our engines, because this will allow us to bring this down substantially faster. Okay. Because otherwise we're going to overshoot. Okay. Bring this back. There we go. So next I want to have... Hang on. There we go. RCS off, please. Kill rot. I want to have Mackin EVA here, and we are going to need to grab a strut. We have a strut around somewhere, right? I mean, we know we have some in the back. Yeah, we might have to go grab one of these struts. Okay, so let's go do that real quick. Up you go, Mackin. You don't need to hit your head on everything on the way. Okay, so we're going to grab this strut here. There we go. And I want to place it out over here, right? But for now, I guess we can put it there as being a little bit closer, because we're going to need to head down here. Okay, and position somewhere around here or so. You can just come to a bit of a halt there, Mackin. Anytime you want to come to a halt. There you go. You can use your head as a brake. That's fine. I want to just strut this on so that this is nice and solid. There we go. We're going to have a weld animation, looks like. Nope, no weld animation. Mackin is just being weird. Okay. Now, we may have imparted some velocity into the shuttle by colliding with Mackin there. So let's see how much relative velocity we end up having. It shouldn't be much. 0.1? Okay, I want to control from here, and I want to point at the target. There we go. Next, I want to RCS in the, well, in a direction here. And I think that direction needs to be, well, off to the left a little bit. So off over here for now. And we're just going to look at bringing this inline. Okay. So we're pretty close to inline here. And we can then go from this perspective, it's forward, but from this perspective, I believe it's down. Yes. So now we can go down a bit until we are positioned here in our nice little ballet we've got going on. However, I do want to make sure that these solar panels are retracted. We're potentially going to hit them. In fact, we're almost certainly going to hit them in some way. So we should probably do that. Okay, so now we're waiting until we are, like, we're going in this directionality, right? We're waiting until we are vertically aligned here, which is a little further here. We need to be about here. Excellent. Basically, from this perspective, we want the shuttle to be completely parallel. And it's very, very close now. Very, very close indeed. I think we need to go a little further, though. Yeah, a little bit further here. Cool. I actually want to be, like, down here for now. Yeah, about here-ish. Okay, we'll bring this right on back up. And I want to head in towards the target here. Which direction are we going here? Yes, in towards the target here. Okay. Now I want to adjust that velocity so that we are right on target. And I want to check our roll situation. Okay, we're going to need some roll adjustments here. No doubt about that. We need to roll this way. About like this. Which of course ends up meaning we need to adjust our velocity out here to compensate. I think we might be a little over-rolled. We'll evaluate that as we come in. Okay, so we are still heading off to the side. We're not quite in position here. Very close. About now. Okay. Yeah, I think we are ever so slightly off on that roll. I want to go this way. About here. Okay. And we just kind of need to thread this needle, right? We're not going to be able to extend this any further. We don't actually need to. We've strutted it. If we unstrut it, then this is going to wave around. So for now, that's reasonably fine. I want to just adjust our overall velocity here and there. And maybe head in ever so slightly faster. Okay. Something about like this. Checking in on our roll situation. I think that we can definitely tweak it a small amount going this way. Okay. And inward we go. I think that our roll is getting pretty close to be as good as it's going to be. Yeah, I think that's about as good as we're going to get the roll. So that seems fine. We don't care too much about the positioning otherwise because it's just going to get aligned up by the dock, right? We just want to make sure that our roll is correct. We don't want to come in at a wacky roll angle. So we just position this here, and we don't need to move the P6 truss, which of course is this component over here. We don't need to move that just yet. Why is that aligned like this? Okay, I'm not sure why the P6 truss is aligned like that. We can take a look at that in just a moment here. I do want to check in on our setup here. Roll looks okay to me. Could maybe tweak it this way a small amount. Kind of like that. But overall, I think we're good. I do want to check in on what's going on with these, though. These should be powered, so that shouldn't be a problem. So let's just get attached in here. This is looking good. We might need to change our velocity ever so slightly. There we go. And we're docked. I like it. So that is great. And at this point, I want to check in on what we've got going on here. So you are at a target angle of -90. We just need to reset it. Okay. And then you should be at a target angle of 0. Why are you not going to your target angle? Okay, there we go. Problem solved. We could strut these into place. I don't think I'm going to do that until after we've moved it. Of course, this module is going to go right here, right? And I'm not going to unfurl these until we have undocked and left here, for sure. We can definitely unfurl these Gigantors, but it's nighttime right now, so we're not going to get too much going on there, all things considered. But there we go. That is our next module put in here, and that's really just a spacer. And I had it designed like this so that this section would match this section. Cool. So that seems reasonably fine. Although looking at the geometry of this, it looks like we can safely extend these Gigantors. In theory. We can see this is at a current angle of 1.3. That shouldn't be moving, though. That should be strutted into place. Wait, where did the struts go? Oh, they're there. Okay, they're definitely there. So, I mean, these might be slightly off, but we could always replace the hinges if we feel like we really need to. I'm definitely going to bring motorized hinges on the S3, S4 truss and the S6 truss. No doubt about that. Motorized hinges are absolutely going to be a thing for those. But otherwise, honestly, we're kind of done here for this flight. We can bring this back, and we probably even have time to land this episode. So we're going to have Doni EVA. We should probably strut this into place, right? So we're going to... Yeah, we should definitely do that. Doni is not our engineer. Come here, Macgan. We need you. Anytime you're available. There we go. Okay, so Macgan is available. We're going to have him be the one to change around this strut. So we're going to grab this strut and put it like here. And that'll do for now. And then we've got a strut going like that. Yeah, that is indeed how that's designed to go. I want to grab an additional strut. Do we have a spare? Well, we could grab one of these engine struts. We could also go grab the literally hundreds of struts that we have, I think, over here. That is an option. Or we could just say this one strut is good enough, and we'll bring additional struts up later. And, like, when we bring our Harmony module up. We should probably consider just having some struts in the cockpit, though, in the future. One strut is sufficient for now, but I do want a second strut on here. But we'll call this good for the moment. So for now, we're going to undock here. Phenomenal. And the shuttle is just going to push out and away. This is the wrong direction. That's also the wrong direction. This way. There we go. I don't know why I was trying to go forward there. That's a very strange directionality to choose. But okay. Kill rot, please. And I just want to push my way right on away from the station. Phenomenal. At this point, we can stow our hinge here at a target angle of 180. There we go. And I want to make sure we're controlling from here. We indeed are. Okay. Phenomenal. So the hinge is stowed, and we are getting some distance from the station. Let's go into orbital retrograde. We can see it's basically exactly the opposite direction. We might need more space from the station before turning here. Let's see what way we start to go. Okay, this is fine-ish. RCS off, please. Yeah, we've got the clearance. Looks good. Okay, I'm going to rotate our wings here away from the station. And this is the retrograde direction, so that seems absolutely fine. Yeah, no problem whatsoever here. Let's get out of here. So we're going to bring this down as usual to around 70-ish kilometers. Goodbye, station. We will be back. What is up with the arm? Hang on. Hey, Canadarm. You can reset, please. There you go. And that just resets, like, the whole thing? Are we out of power? Like, what are these guys doing? Okay, we just need to re-enable all of these. For some reason, they all got disabled at some point. Set your target angle to 0. There you go. Set your target angle to 0. So this is going to flail around wildly until we get these all reset, right? Because they're just going kind of at random right now. It's very awkward when the robot parts do this. This is a thing that does happen, but it is very, very awkward. Okay, so that's this section relatively sturdified. Excellent. We'll set this at a target angle of -90. There you go. This one is relatively correct, but this needs to be at 0. We just have to get all of these reset, right? They're supposed to be locked on power loss as well, so I don't know why they do this. I think that this is technically a bug, but it is a very fixable one, so that is reasonably fine. We'll set this to -90. These should be good to go, and now it's just this end point that should be flailing. So at this point, we set this guy to 0. Hang on. What's going on with this hinge? Yeah, that hinge wasn't reset. Okay. So now it should be mostly under control. I think that we're still needing to do like this hinge here. Let's reset those physics. Thank you very much. Yeah, this guy needs to be reset, and I believe this is still spinning freely. And this one might still be spinning freely too. This is a bug, but it also doesn't really matter. We can just reset them. And there we go. The arm is now working correctly. I imagine we're too far away with the shuttle now, so we're going to have to set as target here. Not set as target. Hang on. Unset target. And switch to. Phenomenal. So now we can bring this thing down. Okay. Yeah, the arm definitely was doing some wacky things there. No doubt about that, but that's okay. So back to the shuttle we go, and let's bring that periapsis height right on down. That happens sometimes. I'm not sure what triggers it, but it's... The robot parts are kind of janky. Always have been. So downward we go. As long as it's still motorized, it's not a problem, right? So... Okay, this is a decent periapsis here, about 70 kilometers. Looks fine. I want to hop on over to here and circularize that on up. There we go. And actually, we could just bring this straight on down. If we want to not be launching it at night every time, we can bring this down sometimes in the nighttime. And we know that we don't really care too much where we end up landing. So for now, that seems reasonably fine. We can skip the circularization burn, bring this thing straight on down. Well, actually, we're not skipping the circularization burn. We're more skipping the landing burn, I guess we could call it, or the, like, re-entry burn. But we're skipping a burn by doing this. Not in terms of delta V, but just in terms of, like, figuring out where we want it to go and such. Okay, so this burn is going to be in, well, right about now, actually. About a 42-second burn, and we can just physics warp through that one, making sure that we're locked to the node. Cool. And we've got about 3 seconds left on that burn, and I guess we'll find out where we're going to land. That'll make things just feel a little bit spicier. Perfect. So we're going to go over to horizontal velocity up and get ourselves oriented here. Okay, looks good. And let's re-enter. This is going to be a night landing, which is going to potentially make things a little bit spicier. Actually, it might not be a night landing. We might be landing, like, right up over here. Like, on exactly the opposite side of the world as the desert airfield? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll definitely find out. But this should be a relatively swift landing. If it is a water landing, that will definitely make things a little easier. In terms of, like, how quickly it'll go. But it could be a land landing as well. I don't know. It's really hard for me to predict this. We'll see. For now, of course, we're still cruising along and losing some speed here, although we're not losing a lot of speed. We're gaining more speed from our gravitational potential energy right now. But that's absolutely fine. We've still got a 10-kilometer periapsis, but that's really going to start going away very, very quickly. So that looks great. Yeah, it's down to 7 kilometers now. Not going to take very long for that to go negative. Yeah, I think we're not going to be landing here. It's going to be more like here, and I have no idea whether this is in land or water. We'll find out. It'll be exciting. It'll absolutely be exciting, but I cannot tell. Regardless, we can do both. It doesn't really matter. This is reporting as water over here, so I'm guessing it is going to be a water landing. Okay, sure. This is right near Woomerang. Like, very near Woomerang, in fact. Too bad there's no landing strip there. So here we go, cruising right on along. No problem whatsoever. This is definitely going to be a water landing, so that does simplify things. No problem at all. Still moving at about 2 kilometers per second, but we're at 30 kilometers up right now, so we're going to be losing a lot of speed here. Yeah, 1.7 now. We're losing speed very rapidly, which is good. That is, of course, exactly what we want. Okay, down to an apoapsis height of like 19 kilometers, but apoapsis really doesn't matter at this point. We are now at a surface velocity of about 700 meters per second. It really feels like it's maneuverable at about 500 rather than the like 600 to 700 that I've tried before. We're just going to go to surface velocity up right now. In fact, I'm going to dive us down. We're going to have to operate primarily based on instruments here. Okay. This is a little too steep of a dive, it seems. Let's just get ourselves oriented here. Okay, this'll do. And we're about 10 kilometers up. So we just need to lose some altitude here. 8 kilometers. We're going to come out of this dive at, I think, like 1.5 kilometers. So I'm just going to go to surface velocity up at about 1.5 kilometers. And we'll see how that feels. We are losing speed right now, just due to our aerodynamics. But that's fine. 4.5 kilometers in altitude. 4 kilometers. 3.5. 3 kilometers. So we have about 1.5 kilometers to go. 2.5. 2 kilometers. I'm going purely off of instruments right now. And 1.5 kilometers, pulling up. Whoa, hang on. Horizontal velocity up. I was on the wrong one. Okay, we pulled way too up. Okay, chutes have to be out. And kill rot. That's very speedy. Okay, we pulled up a little too fast there. No doubt about it. We lost the engines, but, I mean, the shuttle's fine. So any landing you can walk away from is a good landing. That is the policy. Phenomenal. It was great. It was absolutely perfect. There was nothing I would change about that landing at all. Nothing in the slightest. It was quick. Well, too quick, but it was quick. We'll definitely take that. So we get our 200 payment. That does mean that we lose a fair amount of cash, right? Because those vector engines are expensive. So we end up losing a fair amount of cash from not recovering those. So that's definitely spicy. But it's fine. Any landing you can walk away from. Absolutely. Yeah, we definitely lose a lot of money off of that one, but that's okay. We've got cash. Speaking of which, we need to get our payment. There we go. And it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode is going to be the S3, S4 truss and solar arrays. So that's going to be largely a copy of the P3, P4, but we need to figure out how we need to orient them. That'll be interesting. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.